Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Wednesday, hump day in the Riv. And, well, I guess we got a lot of things to talk about, but I guess we start with the saga of Brown University is ongoing.
Yeah,
Uh,
now they've got two potential suspects.
yeah, I'll tell you, this is a catastrophe. Uh, they're I mean, I've seen experts, and I don't claim to be an expert, but I've seen some experts from police agencies and investigative agencies. I mean, they did everything. They did everything they could wrong, basically. I mean,
Yeah, Kash Patel has not been a good incident commander or anything else. And, now what's happening is, and David Mead's guilty of it because he published a picture saying this is the shooter, and it's not the shooter.
yeah.
It's a
Well, it's
fake
not really
picture.
Cash Patel. It's the Providence. They're in
No,
there in
no,
an
I'm just
advisory.
saying. I'm just saying. People are already posting these fake pictures of a potential shooter, and it's not even accurate. It wasn't released by Providence. It wasn't released by the Rhode Island State Police. It wasn't released by Nerona. It wasn't released by the FBI.
But
So
they
these
did
people
release
who
a
want to
picture.
be valuable news sources are showing that they are not credible.
Well, Channel 12 just posted some other pictures, but look, it's not about posting pictures.
That's right. It's not.
It's about criminal process. They
Right.
didn't keep the people who witnessed it, who were in the room. They let them go.
I know.
They should have kept them there, and they should have questioned all of them separately because we know under stress people have different ways,
And the
and
stories
they're going to
change.
recollect different things. But now to go on television. Yeah. But they went on TV and saying if you were there, if you were in the room, come back so we can interview you. I mean, and then Smiley gets on there and tells the people of Providence, "Don't worry about it. We have no credible threats." Uh, so what? You didn't have a credible threat before the incident happened. I mean, the whole thing it's total chaos. Nerona doesn't. That none of these people are capable of doing the investigation. I don't know if the state police now they're involved. They probably should have called the state police in immediately. Unfortunately, the chief of Providence is just he's like he's being told what to say by Nerona, Smiley, everybody else. He doesn't have any answers for anything. And listen, we don't expect a lot of answers, but we expect at least everybody that I've seen interviewed that is a police, a law enforcement professional, all the way down from the CIA down to former homicide detectives and things from major cities have all said that look, they made all kinds of mistakes that they can't really undo.
The first mistake they made was handling the scene immediately following
Yeah.
the shooting. The second mistake they made was arresting somebody, detaining somebody who they thought was the shooter to find out that he wasn't the shooter.
Yeah.
This is what happens. We're all armchair quarterbacks, but
Well, no, I'm not being an armchair quarterback. I'm just saying that they messed it up, and it's pretty. And that's a pretty. I think Smiley was on today admitting that the people of Providence are on edge and justifiably so. And then the other people and I think Stevie mentioned about them. They're trying to cover it's
yeah,
CYA.
they're all CYA.
I mean, listen, the president of Brown had said that she had no idea how many people were there. She had no idea where are the cameras. And listen, what if they got what did they got? $800 billion or $900 billion endowment.
Right, and they
college,
can't have video cameras.
and they don't have video cameras. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. You want to talk about you got security protocols and stuff in a university like that that's got, oh, it's the old building. Why? You can't run wiring in an old building? You can't have cameras in an old building? Of course you can. And then everybody's covering for everybody else.
Right.
And that's the problem. They, and you can't undo this, because now you've allowed this guy to get away. Now, like you said, there's a million different kinds of rumors. I'm not going to speculate anything, but I can say that the majority of the opinions from law enforcement professionals are they screwed this up to a fairly well, and everybody's trying to cover for everybody else. But they should have just said, listen, it was chaos there, and we let everybody, we weren't equipped to handle this. We're going to learn from this issue, and we got to get on with the investigation. And Gene just said he heard the FBI. Somebody, look, they let the guy get away. Now they got all kinds of other things. They probably got 10,000 leads they have to chase down because of the fact it's just what you said, CJ. They got all kinds of people saying this guy's the pic. This is the picture. This guy's the guy who did it. That's the guy who did it. It's a mess. And the people of Providence. And I just read something online about the new press conference. Smiley's admitting that even the businesses are suffering. People are not comfortable. And now on the heels of that, an MIT professor gets shot.
Yeah, so, and they try, and initially, here's where screw-ups come in again. Initially, they try to say that the MIT shooting was connected to the Brown University shooting.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is, yeah, and you're right. They don't have any facts. They had to say was, listen, we've got all hands on deck. And we're doing everything we can, and we have some leads, and that's the end of it. But like I said, everybody's trying to get in front of a camera. Everybody's trying to cover the CYA, and they're just ripping them apart. The professionals are saying, look, they can't do that. And then they ask them, well, how many, if you interviewed the students, well, no, we're asking them to come back. Well, you didn't detain them then and say, listen, we've got to get the people who are eyewitnesses. And now they're kind of like actually criticizing what they said initially and saying that, well, they didn't know what he said, and somebody else said they do know what he said. And he said, look, it's either not enough information. Now they're giving too much information, having a press conference like every 12 hours. That's overkill. Look, you're trying to do an investigation. Just tell the people, look, we're in the middle of an investigation. We're getting leads. We got a ton of stuff to do, and just, we're on it. And like they went from kind of like not giving anything to now to giving, like trying to give too much and to try to assuage the public. But the public is not, Providence, the people in Providence that I saw interviewed were not happy.
No, they're not.
They're not happy. They're fearful. And like I said, on Channel 12 News, they were talking about, Smiley admitted that the downtown Providence businesses they're not getting the business. People are afraid. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I did. That has it makes no sense at all. You can put a camera in anything. You know, you can put cameras on old Ironsides, which was in the Revolutionary War. I mean, this is all BS. Just like they talked about how great their security was and their security protocols, but she says that they allow them key card access in the evening, but during exams they leave the doors open.
They leave the door open,
Really?
exactly.
Really?
And today, the provost said that they did not have any security personnel in the building on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you
And they
gotta leave the
also
doors
post a
open,
map. They post them. Did you? I saw it. They actually had a map of Brown University in the buildings,
right,
and it showed where the cameras were. So you knew there were no cameras over there.
right.
Anybody that went on there said, "Oh yeah, I can shoot somebody over there. There's no cameras." I mean, the whole thing is just. And I don't know about that MIT professor. That's odd. And he's from Portugal. I heard that.
Yes.
He's Portuguese, and he was I don't know.
Married with two, I think it was two children, maybe two, but I think it was two children.
Yeah, and he was he's like
And
a
he's
really
the director of
professor.
physics and nuclear energy section.
Yeah, he's got a real high security kind
Right.
of education, and I'll tell you, it's we're going nuts. And then you look at Australia, what an absolute crap show that was too.
Right.
But at least they got the gunman because they were there. You know what I'm saying? So, and the other guy tackled them, but you had 4 police officers didn't even draw their weapons. They were showing videos of the guy shooting into the crowd till the guy tackled them, and then Australia is trying to cover it up. They're making all these absurd things because they were pro-Hamas, they were pro-Palestine, and they didn't even mention the word anti-Semitic initially. And then when they finally did, they also had to say, "Oh yeah, and we're also looking at right-wing organizations." And then they said, "Well, this wasn't a religiously based ideology. They were affiliated with a terrorist group." Well, you know how stupid you sound when you're the chief of the chief police and that thing. When these two guys had ISIS flags in their cars, they had gone to the Philippines to train with ISIS. What in the F do you think ISIS is? You think there are any Christians or Jews in ISIS? It's a radical Islamic organization, one of the most radical there is. As a matter of fact, it's so radical, even Al Qaeda threw them out because they're even more radical than Al Qaeda. And it's a Muslim Islamic terrorist. These are Islamic terrorist organizations. As he said, "Oh no, they're affiliated with a terrorist organization. It's not religious." No, ISIS isn't a religiously based terrorist organization. Of course not. These people, they're pathetic because they're such wokies. They've got to defend their positions because you know what the reality is? They caused it.
Yeah.
They caused it. Last year, they were on the steps of a building yelling, "Gas the Jews, gas the Jews, gas the Jews, kill the Jews, gas the Jews," and they didn't do a freaking thing about it. You think they declared them a terrorist organization? Oh, no, we can't do that. No, that's what happens. I don't know. I think his address was 4. I was busy doing some other stuff. I'm going to watch it on tape. But yeah, that's a rumor, Stevie. I heard today too that Bongino was leaving. It's a pretty uh, Yeah, gun laws. Yeah, them and their gun laws. They're all crazy about gun laws when we know gun laws don't work.
No, they don't.
Criminals
Because
don't abide by
criminals
laws.
don't follow the law. That's why they're criminals.
That's right. And guess what? The only thing stringent gun laws succeed in doing two things. One, taking the protection of a gun from a law abiding citizen, taking away their protection to protect themselves from somebody who's armed and dangerous. And secondly, to increase the price of black market guns.
That's right.
You just made the black market gun dealers richer because they're going to charge more for the guns now. So, I mean, you didn't do anything. Yeah, this gun. How many years have we had? Every state, Massachusetts, massively stringent gun laws. Minnesota, massively strict. All the blue states got massively. You don't see these things happening in a lot of red states, South Dakota, Texas, and stuff. Not that they haven't, but it's not as much. That's right. Make it harder for us to defend ourselves, and they get this narrative that there's some kind of correlation between laws and making criminals not criminals. Well, criminals are by definition people who ignore laws.
That's right.
Why would passing more laws have any kind of effect in minimizing gun crime? And what are we else going to do? We're going to outlaw hammers. People have been killed with hammers, with knives, with bombs. So we're going to have to outlaw everything. Spoons, I don't know. Toaster ovens, because you can throw them in the bathtub when somebody you want to kill is in the bathtub and electrocute them. These people are nuts. You know what cures crime? Serious punishment. Law enforcement. And you know what helps crime? Liberal judges that let them all out. 100 arrests and they kill somebody with their car. 49 arrests and they stab somebody on the subway. How are they out? Why are they out? This country has a faction in this country, the libtards, the wokies, who they're anti-civilian safety. They let criminals out for any kind of reason. Oh, he's a mental defective. Well, 49 times he's acted out, he's dangerous, they have to be incarcerated. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And we see what's happening all over now it's all over the world. I mean, Australia.
Well, you know my thing on the NGI, not guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. How about guilty but mentally ill? There's an option. This way they get treated in a psych facility and then they serve the rest of their sentence afterwards. People say that's inhumane.
Well,
I know somebody, and I know this personally, who was found NGI. It wasn't a violent crime, but was found NGI. And they kept him on monitoring for 2 years in the district court. So they wasted all that time for him to go in to the district court to say hello and then left. I don't know.
Well, Steve. Well, yeah, you're right. I agree, Steve. But let me say, it reminds me of something that I always tell them people get a kick out of because it's a true story. When I first got on a fire department, I worked with a guy that had been on for a long time. He was an old timer, one of the guys that had, World War II vet and came from the Depression era. And you know what he told me about insanity pleas? This is what he told me about how they should determine whether somebody can get off on insanity. He said this to me, CJ. He said, give him a gun with one bullet in it in the chamber and tell them to shoot themselves. If they shoot themselves, they're crazy, but now you don't have to worry about them anymore. And if they don't shoot themselves, they're not that crazy and prosecute.
That's right.
That was the best I've ever heard of how to solve this situation. You're really crazy? Are you so crazy that you killed that person? Yeah, kill yourself. And if they say no, say, well, I guess you weren't crazy enough to kill yourself, so you should have been not crazy enough to kill another human being.
Yeah. Well,
the
interesting thing is, look at the Rob Reiner murder.
Yeah.
Okay? His son offed him. His son has had a long history of drug usage. And he has formally said publicly that he had that problem and the various issues he's created. Now he's got an attorney, the same attorney who got Karen Reed off, to defend him. And they're going to go for probably an NGI.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be interesting is that he'll probably get it.
Maybe.
He'll probably get it.
And it's ironic.
Because who in their right mind would kill their parents?
Well, I heard a counter.
That's what the most common sense person thinks.
Well, I heard a counter argument from a very, very well-known prosecutor last night. I was watching it today because I tape all these things, and she was a very well-known prosecutor, and she said, absolutely not. He cannot be found, he said, because I'm going to tell you what he did. And this is what she said. This is not me. This is what she said he did. She said, he went in and they were sleeping, stabbed them, slit their throats. Then he left and he went to a nearby motel. But when he went to that nearby hotel, he had a clean set of clothes. He took a shower. He took the clothes off that were full of blood and everything else, took a shower, changed up, and then went about his business. You don't do that if you're crazy.
No, you don't.
He brought a change of clothes with him before he committed the murder. He went, changed, took a shower, got rid of the blood on him and stuff. And she said, any prosecutor should be able to eat that defense alive.
Yeah.
But number one, he's from an extremely rich family.
Right.
He's from Hollywood. All the Hollywood celebrities will be crying about Rob wouldn't have wanted it this way, even though he killed him. Rob put him in rehab 17 times, and we have to be, and it's like, I wouldn't doubt if he beats it, in spite of the fact that this prosecutor said, no way he was not mentally competent. That was premeditated first-degree murder. So, like I said, there's going to be two sides to the case. It'll be a very interesting case if it when it gets.
It's going to be interesting with this lawyer, that's for sure.
So he's got a good lawyer, and like I said, there is a different standard of justice. So, people can say that all they want, but it isn't. Klaus von Bülow got off, didn't he, for killing his wife?
Yes, he did. Well, after the appeal, he got convicted. But then what did he do? The decision was overturned.
Then what did he do? He hired Alan Dershowitz, one of the biggest constitutional scholars ever.
Right.
And they beat it on a technicality. Dershowitz didn't get him acquitted. This is the problem with our judicial system, to me. He found a technicality in process. I can't read that. Powerball. Oh, yeah, I got mine, too.
1.25 million.
City better not hope I hit, man. 1.25. But He beat it on a technicality, like the guy who killed 28 people in the McDonald's years ago and got off because the cop didn't Mirandize him properly. Yeah. Well, I mean, Gene, I don't know. If the guy was like as messed up as he was, whose money do you think he was living off? Who sent them? No, it doesn't. And that prosecutor was very, very adamant about that. She said they know that he brought a change of clothes with him to the murder. I mean, if you're of, if you're not of sound mind, and it was just a crime of having, of passion that you got so upset with your parents or whatever because I don't know what happened.
The voices told you to do it.
Did the deed. He probably would have been wandering around full of blood-soaked clothes for all over the neighborhood. But no, he left. He had a motel room. He went to it, took a shower, changed clothes. So, like I said, it's going to be an interesting case. But rich people like Von Bulow, well, OJ got it because of his fame, and we know that guilty people get off all the time on technicalities, and that's what bothers me at the system. To me, if you're guilty, you're guilty. Technicalities should be, unfortunately, the people that should be prosecuted are the people who made the technical errors. You can't to me, I can't reconcile in my mind somebody who killed 28 innocent people in a McDonald's, men, women, and children. And that happened in California a long time ago. But he walked into a McDonald's and mowed down 28 people. And they acquitted him because the police officer did not Mirandize him properly. And then we've had other people get off on serious charges because they had the wrong address on the search warrant. Look, you can't let them go. They're guilty. Put the person who screwed up the search warrant in jail. Fire them from their job. Do so. But I mean, to me, it's not justice. Lawyers have created a criminal justice system that suits their version of, we're going to be defense lawyers and we'll be able to get our people off on technicalities, so everybody has to dot all the I's and cross the T's. That's not what a judicial system is supposed to do. It's supposed to be about giving people a fair trial, and if they're found guilty and there's enough evidence to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt they're guilty, you can't let them walk because somebody put the wrong address or some police officer did not give him his complete Miranda rights. He killed 28 people. That is, I'm sorry, that's just not, I don't agree.
There's nothing new.
Gee, yeah, but you're just a poor guy. You don't have money. You get one of them fancy lawyers. If you got Dershowitz, he would have brought up every technicality on the planet Earth, Gene. And you know that. If you could afford to hire Alan Dershowitz or the dream team that OJ had over there, they would have brought all kinds of technicalities in. Remember, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Of course. No, you're right, James. I mean, this is an outrage in a campus, in a college that's that rich. To not have, like, to say there's no cameras in an entire building because it's old, that's absurd.
Well, here's the thing. Nerona says the guy's going to be caught. Okay? He says, if the public has any information, they need to call us with those tips. But the shooter should turn himself in.
Yep.
Get real. Okay? If I were that shooter, I'd be out of the state of Rhode Island. I'd be out of New England. I'd be somewhere else. I'd be in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absurd. I mean, listen, he wants
I'd be in
people.
the Appalachians.
Listen, did you saw the videos I did? We all saw those videos. Could you identify anybody from that video?
No.
No. You can't see the guy's face. You can't. You know that he's got a pot belly, but that's about all.
No, and like I said, there's people on social media posting pictures which are fake.
Yeah.
They're not the pictures released by the city of Providence, the Providence Police, the Rhode Island State Police, or Nerona. And one of our viewers was guilty of that. And if one of our viewers wants credibility, they have to be sure they have the correct information or the correct proof. There are people out there taking pictures of one of the murder victims, one of the victims that was murdered, taking off all his clothing, putting it in pro-Palestinian attire. Maybe he is pro-Palestinian. I don't know. But guess what? That's the way it is.
Gene. Well, I can tell you something. I mean, the only way to me they're going to ever catch this guy, they said they got DNA in it. It's not in the database. If he tells somebody he committed the murder and that guy rats him out or something, because
that's how they're going to catch him.
The reality is that they're asking the general public. I looked at all those pictures. You can't make out anything. All you can see is the guy's eyebrows. Yeah, that was a pretty good movie. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the guy that. Yeah, he was a Rhode Island State Trooper there. Yeah. I like them better in Pet Detective.
Yeah.
But
I think we're going to move away from Brown University now, and we're going to get into some local stuff.
Oh, good. Let's go.
The Fall River Fire Department did not get their SAFER grant.
Why not?
And the union president is concerned that the city will not honor its agreement to increase staffing levels with the fire department.
And why didn't they get their SAFER grant?
Don't know.
Because they didn't write the grant properly. I can tell you why. Who was the grant writer?
Don't know.
Who wrote the grant? Let's see the grant. I don't know in this day and age where they've ever not handed out a SAFER grant if it's made out properly.
Right.
I mean, public safety.
According to the union president,
you think the body politic will refuse public safety in this environment that we have now?
Well, the thing is, according to the union president, Michael O'Regan, he released the information that the city did not receive the grant. The city didn't release it. The city didn't say anything about it. Michael O'Regan had to say it.
Well, where's our congressman? Where's Auchincloss? Where's Markey? Where's Warren pushing the SAFER grant? That's why they're there. That's a federal grant. And like I said, I've never seen a SAFER grant that was written properly.
And of all cities that could be the poster child for the SAFER grant, Fall River just had a huge fire killing 10 people.
Of course. But then listen, we also have this city is notorious. We got nothing but buffoons running our budget. What did Paul say? Give her a chance. She's young. She'll learn the job. Well, somebody just learned the job. Maybe there was a grant writer. Who's the grant writer now? I don't know. I mean, he was looking for an excuse. He never said he was going to, put people on. He put them on with a SAFER grant because he's not paying for them. But he had a 10-year plan to bring them up. That's absurd. That's why the man, he's a total disaster. He should never be. How this guy gets because it's crazy. And, because they don't care about us. Listen, look what they're going to do now on the next agenda. They want to take away, even though we never get to do it, but there was a condition that we had to vote on large expenditures
$5
And
million
now, Sean
or $20
Kadim
million
wants to say,
aggregate.
why let them have a say in how we spend their money?
Sean Kadim sent it down to the ordinance committee for tomorrow, to remove your rights to vote on expenditures over $5 million, which the city's never done. They always break them up into $4,900,000 just to swing by the $5 million limit.
No, you're right, Gene. I mean, it's not really like there's no safer grants out there that you can use as a template or something like that. But no, you're right about Kadim. Somebody better remind Sean Kadim that because he thinks because he now is the town, the town administrator in Seekonk, he knows everything and he knows better than everybody else how to spend our money. Well, I got news for you, Sean. You're full of shit. The Constitution says, I don't care how smart you are, you work for us.
Well, according to him,
you are our fiduciary, and you are answerable to us.
So but according to him, it's to bring us in line with the rest of the Commonwealth.
I don't give a shit. The whole Commonwealth's violating its own freaking Constitution.
I agree.
What does the Constitution say? They are our substitutes and agents and answerable to us at all times. What is the highest form of their answerability? When we vote on something, right? Case closed. Who are they to take away our rights because they think they're smarter than we are?
Let me read this to you.
You supported this city going into basically bankruptcy. You talk a good game, but how much money have you ever saved the taxpayers?
Let me read this to you. Submitted by Councilor Sean Kadim. Whereas Section 2-131 of the City Code currently states that no order authorizing the issuance of a bond, note, or certificates of indebtedness in the amount of $5 million or to exceed $20 million within a fiscal year or in excess thereof for any purpose shall become effective until and unless the order is submitted to a vote of the registered voters of the city for adoption or rejection at a general or special city election. And whereas the provision restricts the city council's lawful jurisdiction to authorize borrowing that is funded within existing operating budgets and that does not require an override or tax increase through a debt exclusion. And whereas requiring a citywide referendum for borrowing that does not impose a debt exclusion places unnecessary procedural constraints on the city's ability to effectively conduct fiscal planning, manage capital projects, and respond promptly to operational and infrastructural needs. And whereas the mandatory election requirement creates avoidable delays in implementing time-sensitive capital improvements, adversely affecting public safety, public works, education, and other essential municipal functions. And whereas special elections required solely for the purpose of approving a bond authorization generate additional unbudgeted municipal expenses and administrative burdens.
Yeah, well,
divert staff capacity and delay critical investments in city services.
All right, so let me tell you something. You know what Sean Kadim wants? A blank check.
That's exactly what he wants.
Capital improvements. What fucking capital improvements have we seen since Paul Coogan's been in office that helped people of Fall River? Okay? That's bullshit. They want a blank check. They can spend this. Remember what he just said, over $20 million in a year. He wants to spend more money. That's like in Seekonk. He thinks we're in Seekonk. They want a blank check.
Yeah, but they do that now.
And
They
I'm gonna
do
tell
that
you
now
something.
by keeping it
There's
under
gonna be
4
a
million.
goddamn taxpayer lawsuit. That
Right.
is the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard. You're full of shit, Sean. You're just looking for an end around so you can blow money. Yeah, well, I don't care what he wants. He's not getting that shit without a fight. Because you're not going to tell me. They already get around it. Like CJ said, we've never had a vote on it anyway. They break it up into pieces.
They break it up into pieces. And
you better
they
light candles.
the $20 million mark all the
I
time.
tell you, Sean, you better light a couple of novenas tonight that either CJ and I don't hit the mega bucks. Because I'm taking your dumb ass to court. You're not a representative of the people. You're a shill to the government.
He always says
You're
the right things,
you're acting
but
like
does
the
the
town
opposite.
administrator of Seekonk trying to push the town's agenda and screw the taxpayers. And you're doing it in Fall River. And that's not going to fly. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit.
Now, if he was asking for an increase,
so ridiculous in my life.
If he was asking for an increase to like $10 million instead of $5 million, I might be able to see
all
that.
All other horse shit about it impairs them. It impedes them to act quickly. When the fuck have they ever acted quickly? Okay, answer me that question. They're always a day late and a dollar short. Don't give me that shit. You guys sit on everything, screw up everything. Like that. Remember the suit, the lawsuit? What did they do? Yeah, I mean that's bullshit. Remember the Dominion lawsuit?
Yep.
They sat on their thumbs and lost that thing, and CJ found it in 10 seconds on his phone. Oh, we didn't get the letter. He had the letter in 10. He went, I'm looking at him, they're saying that, and he's going like this on his phone. He goes, oh, I got the letter right here. Look. And I went, oh, yeah, you got the letter. They still don't have the letter. Sean's saying, oh, not having all our money to spend without even asking us how to spend it is going to make them be more efficient, even though they've never been efficient at anything. They're always
like
they
I
don't
turned
pay
around
their
and told
freaking
another
bills.
city councilor.
Sean, why don't we pay our bills? Why couldn't we buy tires? Why were we refused by businesses because we owe money? We don't even collect from Westport. How about getting their freaking money before you start raping us? This is outrageous. I mean, this you wonder why people get out of town when they can. This is just unbelievable. I can't even reconcile this. I mean, that is the biggest sham in the world. Now he wants to be town administrator of Fall River too. So let me be a town. You're not representing us. Taking our constitutional right, ignoring your constitutional obligation to be answerable to us. You don't belong in office. And I don't give a damn how smart you think you are. You don't belong there. You are not what our Constitution says we're supposed to have. A substitute, an agent, answerable to us. Yeah, well, there's always a way, James. There's always a way. Like CJ said, there's always a way around it. We've had that thing in effect for years. We've never voted on things that cost $10 million.
The only thing we voted on was a water department expenditure because it was like $24 million.
Yeah. And that was, but I mean,
how many voters said yes?
Brought things that were in excess of $5 million, broken them down into 5 or 6 pieces and run them through, which is illegal. But like I said, I don't feel like going to the Supreme Court with my money. But if I hit the Powerball tonight, I'll tell you what, we'll see them all in court.
That's it.
I'll tell you, it's crazy. I mean, they just don't care how badly they screw the people. Yeah, Sean, you don't give a shit anymore. You're not bankrupt anymore. You got a $200,000 a year job. You don't give a shit about the regular people in Fall River. You don't care about the people on a fixed incomes. You don't care how much you drive up the taxes. You'll talk a good game like you always do. Well, this is wrong and that's wrong and that wrong and this is wrong. I don't agree with anything in this, but I vote yes.
Exactly. Says the right stuff, but votes the wrong way all the time. Cliff Ponte does the same thing. Says the right stuff, votes the wrong way.
You know why? That's so they can walk into City Hall with their friends from Seekonk and get them a job.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't think I knew about that, Sean? I do.
Oh, we knew about it. We spoke about it on the show.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they want.
Right.
That's what they want. They will only go so far. They don't want to step on their toes too hard, because then when they're looking for a favor for one of their pals, they're going to get it.
That's right.
That's why we need a different form of government.
Yes, we do.
At least maybe get enough people on a council that'll keep them in line, because right now this city is totally out of control.
I brought up to Michelle Dion, who is sponsoring the resolution to make Fall River a Type E type charter, okay, or Type E form of government. And I said, do you realize if you put this on the ballot in November of 2026, it's going to be missed? It's going to be ignored? And she goes, why is that? I said, there's 32 questions proposed to be on the 2026 ballot. Our little question is going to be put in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to have to get that put on a special ballot, a special election to make it happen.
You're right, CJ. You're 100%.
Otherwise,
right.
It's going to get lost. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the 32 questions that are on the ballot. They're hoping that people just get overwhelmed with them and they say, screw it, I'm not going to vote on the questions.
Yeah. That's a midterm election. There's going to be all kinds of chaos in that midterm election, because they're going to be trying to push everybody's agenda. And you're right, James. He's not going to be 2.0. I think he's going to be like 7.0. But I don't think he can be elected. And based on the way he's performed in the city council, I don't think Andrew, he may have ambitions, but he also had ambitions to be the vice president of the council. And, he thinks that because he's gotten elected to the city council, that's a big, well, ask everybody who ran for mayor. There's only been fundamentally one person that ever got on, and not one person who finished anywhere near the top of the council ticket. There's never been somebody who finished number one for city council that ever was elected mayor.
I don't want to see a mayor in Fall River anymore. There's too much corruption at that level.
Yeah.
Way too much corruption.
And not only that, you never get anything, the problem.
You never get anything done. Every 2 years, you got to run for re-election.
Yeah, and not only that, even if you tried to do it, people would, the city council would give you all kinds of problems because they've got their own agenda.
That's right.
And that would be the first time they did, because they won't oppose the bad things, but they'll oppose the good things, because anybody that takes over the city is going to have to do some real difficult things to do, because this city,
to cut with a chainsaw.
This city is totally out of control.
Yep.
I mean, I've never seen such corruption, just up to your eyeballs, and such incompetence.
And they don't try to hide it.
Well, they don't even. No, not a bit. Not a bit. Like I said, now they're trying to take every little thing, even though we never got it. That's how greedy they are now. Sean wants to take our ability to vote on big ticket items away, even though we could never get it. Good one, Gene.
Hey,
That
Gene,
was a good one. That was a good-
did you read the Weekend Flush? When I exposed some of Andrew Raposo's donations to his employer, and the fact that Chris Pirano gave him in money in excess of $200, and all of a sudden, even though his application had been withdrawn by Chris, Andrew still voted no on rejecting the application.
Well,
Tell me
yeah,
that wasn't a bought and paid for vote.
sounds to me that.
Sounds that way to me. And if nothing else, it looks like it.
And that's what people have to understand. Even if it wasn't, which I think it was too, I agree with you. But the ethics law clearly states even the perception of an impropriety is an ethics violation.
That's right. So, read his OCPF reports.
Yeah,
Gene.
Yeah. CJ went over it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we need people with a functional brain. I think that may be age discrimination. We got some people that are older that are pretty sharp. I mean, as much as I dislike him, Bernie Sanders is like 85, and he's sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack. I mean, we've had some older politicians that were really, really sharp. We've also had some that are really, but we also got some younger politicians. Now, listen, if age was a criteria, you'd have to think that Jasmine Crockett is a genius in AOC, and that's the farthest thing from the truth in the world. I mean, they make rocks look intelligent. I mean, some of the stuff that they come out with is beyond comprehension for a person with a functional brain. So but what we need is people that remember who they get elected to represent. It's the people. They don't. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Did you see that stat? CJ, do you see what she made in the last 3 years in investment?
Yes, I did.
$56.9 million. Let's round it off to 57 million. Wouldn't everybody out there watching the show have liked to get enough insider information where they could have made $57 million in the last 3 years?
It would be nice.
You wouldn't be watching a show complaining. You tell Sean, screw it, Sean. Take all that tax money. I don't give a shit. I just made 57 million. I'm getting a house in Florida, one in Texas, one in South Dakota, North Dakota,
all the no income states.
Yeah, all the no income tax states, all the the red states. I'm getting that. I'm getting out of here. You just bend them over and take them to the cleaners. I don't care anymore. But this is what they do. And now all of a sudden, you notice the mainstream media is now looking at it. There's this report. It appears as though she was resistive to insider trading for politicians for a reason. Yeah, no shit, because now you can't do anything to her. She's all done.
Right.
Stepping down. She's 57 million in the last 3 years, over probably her entire career in the Senate. She's probably well over 100 million.
Exactly.
Well over 100 million. And this is what they do in Washington. They don't represent you. They all get rich. They all get rich. No, she didn't. No, you're right. No, she always blocked the votes. And the thing is that, listen, this is as corrupt and as illegal as you could possibly imagine, because Nancy Pelosi is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. She had a lot of power because of her position. But you're going to tell me that all the giant investment brains that they have in the stock exchange. Nobody's made more money than Nancy Pelosi. Right there tells you something. It's got to be. It's the game's got to be rigged. She had rigged information. No stock broker, no speculator has ever done as well as the politicians. It's because they know what to invest in. They know what's coming down the pipe. It happens occasionally. I knew guys that were into investments many years ago. And remember that place that opened up at the thing about, it was something about, they were dealing with hazardous waste containment and stuff, and they had a whole new procedure. And somebody knew somebody who told them that this is stocks in this company are going to skyrocket because this thing that they've got the patent on right now for a while is going to be a multi-billion-dollar freaking winner. And they invested in it, and they did make a lot of money. No, yeah, you're right, Stevie. They all do it. They all do it. Listen, show me somebody in Washington that's been in there over one term that hasn't increased their wealth by massive amounts. It's an impossibility. I don't care what. The only person that didn't get richer going to Washington was Trump.
That's it.
He got poorer because he's not involved in his business anymore.
That's right.
Everybody else gets rich up there. I mean, and the thing is that they keep electing these people that, being in Washington, being in the city council in Fall River, being the mayor should be a revolving door. It should be 2 terms, 3-term max out. 6 years for Senate, 2 terms, that's 12 years. That's way too long. I'd say 1 term for Senate. But in the House, should be 3 terms maximum. You should not spend more than 6 years, or if you wanted to be, say, well, we want to keep it consistent. You can't have a president for more than 8 years. So let's make it 8 years. You can't be a congressman for more than 4 terms. Reduce the Senate.
No. Congress was set up originally so that they served a term in Congress, 1 term in Congress, and went back home.
Well, they all did.
That was the regular man's representation. The Senate was always the elite. That's why they made it 6 years.
Yeah, it was like the House of Lords.
That's right.
The House of Lords and the House of Commons.
That's right. And that's exactly what it was. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great day.